talk about the NickMercs drama going on in Call of Duty, as I said, because I just kind of want to see what this is all about because it's very recent, it just happened, and I think that it's fucking outrageous. I'm not gonna lie.
I woke up today not having on the bingo card that NickMercs would be the cause of a complete societal shift on Twitter this
I don't
week.
know why his video's so quiet, but it
In
is.
the past recent news, Nick has come out to say a statement saying that we should leave the kids out of it. And just that statement alone apparently means so much and is such a darning phrase now.
Okay, so to be clear, when NickMercs said we need to leave the kids out of it, what Elliot's talking about here is the whole trans effort and everything that the trans people are doing to try and educate children about trans rights and trans life and trans decisions and whatever else it is, like allowing kids to go to drag shows and things like this, even though, you know, drag shows are typically done at nightclubs that require you to be 18 or 21 to enter, depending on the rules of the area around things like alcohol for some instances, right? Sometimes it's you got to be at least 21 because there's alcohol. Sometimes it's not. It depends on the state, depends on the county. 18 to 21, depending, it's 18 or 21 really, just depending on where you're at in the United States. The fact is, you're not allowed to take your child into a strip club and watch a young woman undress herself and shake her tits and ass in their face. So why would it be okay for you to allow an adult person in drag to do this? Okay? Why is it okay if someone does this in drag if you can't do it at a strip club? I'm not arguing that you should be allowed to do it at a strip club. I'm saying that it's fine if you do whatever the fuck you want, but maybe it's not for kids.
That we should all grab our pitchforks.
It's the same thing that Nick was saying.
Fires, grab the town, mobilize and riot. And I completely do not understand this split and this rift. Yesterday I was streaming, and it's something I just really kind of wanted to talk about and touch on because
what is going on the screen behind him? What game is this?
Circulating around that I would just reply to somebody, and I'll just, you know what?
It's like I recognize it, but I don't.
So there's a viral video going around.
Why is he so quiet?
And this is the post that went with it. We don't need to see the video because the video is kind of crazy with people getting ran over and whatnot, and I really don't want to see that. But this tweet comes out saying, anti-LGBT protesters attack pro-LGBT demonstrators outside Glendale, California. I think we can all agree that is not good. Nobody should attack.
Okay, so the violence being discussed there, like, that's not good. However, this is misleading as fuck. I saw this thing too, right? So, Glendale, California. I just want to make sure this is actually what I was thinking it was before I misspeak on it, because I don't want to misspeak on this issue. And not because of backlash, but because, like, accuracy actually matters. Like, it's a pretty serious thing. I just hope that this article is going to say it. I'm just trying to skim through as fast as I can. Because I want to say that what I saw about this had shown and stated that the people on the LGBT side of this were Antifa. You know, the people who were responsible for the Summer of Love 2020, where we had even before 2020 Summer of Love, really, where we had Antifa taking over entire portions of cities within the United States and imposing their own law and order there as if that's not an insurrection, and people defended it, burning down buildings with Molotov cocktails to include federal buildings with employees inside, as well as black-owned businesses that they supposedly were supporting with BLM. So, no big deal. It's the same organization, is my point, that's there supposedly attacking people for LGBT side of this. I just don't remember who it was on the other side of this. I just want to point out the fact that it's not unsurprising. Yeah, and they aren't saying who the groups were. They're just being very vague, LGBT, non-LGBT. The fact is, you have the people who've been very violent and endorsed by the left, legitimately endorsed by the left. This has been proven. BLM raised more than $80 million and did absolutely nothing to support any kind of funding or any kind of program to help inner city or black lives at all, in any way, shape, or form, that they had to pay taxes on. This is a public tax report that they had to file. So we know that that was a thing. Antifa, alongside them, protest the same things. So, for all intents and purposes, same deal. My point being, Antifa was the LGBT side of this, if I'm not mistaken. I might have this wrong, but I believe they were the LGBT side of it, or this side of it. My mistake. I didn't read the prefix. Pro-LGBT, I believe, is where Antifa was, and the anti-LGBT protesters weren't necessarily attacking demonstrators. They were protesting as well. The fact is, Antifa uses fascist tactics to supposedly fight fascism. When you're forceful, we're going to pull this up, that way nobody can pull some bullshit on me. A system of government marked by centralization of authority under a dictator, capitalist economy subject to stringent government controls, violent suppression of the opposition, and typically a policy of belligerent nationalism and racism. A political philosophy, second definition, because words have multiple meanings, okay? A political philosophy or movement based on or advocating such a system of government. 3, oppressive dictatorial control. Now, typically a policy of belligerent nationalism or racism. This could honestly be removed. There's not a lot of actual systems in history that you can say were actually to the extreme of fascism. Hardly at all. And you can tie the small handful of them that have ever existed to also being nationalistic and racist. However, it's important to realize their nationalism and racism was used in an extreme to push people to extremism. As you can see in this image for who it was. Okay? They used their nationalism and their blatant racism to unify people into violently suppressing the people who opposed them and who they were told to hate through their racism and nationalism, which the majority of which were also other white people. Okay, let's be very clear. So, those are the people who are on this end of this. When those are the people who are violently suppressing people who are protesting, these are the protesters. You understand the way that they phrase this, right? Anti-LGBT protesters, pro-LGBT demonstrators. You have a right to protest. What are they demonstrating? See what I'm saying? They use different language for each group on purpose. They want you to believe that this group and protesting are somehow bad, while they also tell us Protesting it is an American right and an American historically accurate, like, you should be doing this. But then they call them anti-LGBT protesters and say that they're the ones who attack, because that's how you need to phrase it, because otherwise the pro-LGBT group looks really bad, even though they were helped out by Antifa using fascist tactics to impose their position, which, once again, we'll just look this up to be sure. Too many backspaces. Confrontation. We'll just type all that in and see what happens. Between Antifa and parents. Uh-oh! Look, I found it. 3 arrested after Antifa clashes with Armenian parents at California school board meeting. Uh-oh. The parental rights activists. So I was right. So what this says right here, between Antifa and parental rights activists, that means Antifa was on the side of the pro-LGBT group, because the parents' rights group is saying that this stuff needs to be kept out of schools and that they will educate their kids on this how they see fit. Okay? And all that Nick said was that they should leave children alone, and that's the issue, which is what I've said the whole time. Just leave the kids out of it. This is where they fucked up. Don't fuck with kids. What happens when you start fucking with kids? Little kids, especially little kids, like kids in elementary school, kids that are 5 to 10 years old. You know what happens? You made mom mad. You made mom from working class homes, lower class homes, the people in the trailer parks, the people living out of a van. You made that mom mad. All the way up to wealthy people. This goes beyond classes. You've now angered mothers. You know what that means? You've now angered fathers, because they come home and mom's pissed. And all that they wanted was some peace. So by fucking with the kids, you fucked with everyone. And you made everybody mad. But when you start doing things with a group like this, that ties you into a group like Antifa, which once again uses fascist tactics, which was what, for the last time? Violent suppression of the opposition. So what did they do? They attacked Armenian protesters who believe that parents should have the right to say what their children are taught based on their tax dollars being spent on the public schools that their children attend. I don't know how people honestly make an argument against the fact that parents should have the right to say what their kids want in a public school. It's their kid, not our kid. As a teacher, you might be teaching that kid and responsible for their education, but you are responsible for their education and their success as adults. Teaching them things about gender equality, is that going to make them a successful adult? Is that going to teach them how to pay their taxes, how to make sure their finances are in order and they're not incredibly burdened by debt? Is that going to teach them how to make smart financial decisions into the future? Is that going to teach them into how to build wealth and not make the same mistakes you made in your life leading you to where you're at? No, it's not. All it is extra shit for them to deal with that literally means nothing at all and gets nobody anywhere with anything. You're not educating them on shit. All you're doing is holding them back. I hate that he is whispering at us. I literally have this maxed out as well as over here.
Never good. Then the school board is voting.
I can't turn him up any further.
As Pride Month, okay?
He's as loud as he gets.
Nick says they should leave little children alone. That's the real issue, right? So they should leave little.
See now, and this dude said this happened 4 blocks from my Overwatch League apartment. Americans are in a sad place right now. Let people love who they love and live your own life. That's not what was going on. Nobody was telling these people in the LGBT community that they can't love who they don't want to love. They were just saying, don't teach my kids your shit. Teach them how to be successful adults in the functioning world. I will teach them social morals and right from wrong. You teach them the things they need to be successful because that's your job at a school. That's it.
Little children alone. That statement, right, has turned into him having to come out and give his two cents on the matter, right? Jake Lucky's probably one of my favorite journalists. He goes out and at least just gives out the facts, right? And people are very opinionated on Jake Lucky. I think him and Hunter are doing great things. And I think if anything, if we can say that they're like...
Okay, we're going to not watch this one.
News on all the game,
he's way too quiet and we can't hear him.
Kind of like a J.J. Redick, while Hunter is kind of like a Mike Greeny in terms of personality. But back to
we'll watch what
Mark
NickMercs actually has
30
to say
wins.
himself.
Keep it fucking moving, man.
All right. I'll say this. I saw a tweet, and I didn't like what I was seeing, man. Okay, I saw parents brawling in front of a fucking school with kids.
Yep.
I just didn't fucking like it.
Now, I agree with his statement here. Parents brawling in front of a school with kids. Yeah, not good. Not good at all. You know what I noticed from all the clips that I saw of this happening? Nobody showed it start. Nobody showed how it started. Nobody showed how it began. They just hopped right into the violence and told you that the parents were responsible. The parents are the bad ones. Parents bad, parents bad, parents bad, parents bad. We're good over here, though. We're not culpable. It takes two to tango. Okay? Show us how it started.
You know, I'm sure a lot of you guys can understand how that video would piss some people off. It pissed me off. Okay? Now...
Keep in mind, he's a new father.
You know,
a very new father. I think he says it.
How do I put this? I gotta be very, very careful here. I don't want to piss anybody off. I'm making a lot of people mad. It wasn't my intention. I mean, listen, my wife and I just had a baby.
Oh, he does. It's right here.
Brand new father. You know, we seen these kinds of videos. It's sad. You know.
And if you read his comment section here.
But her and I agree that we want to be the ones to talk
pretty
to
much
our
everybody
kid
agrees
about things like that.
Leave the kids alone.
I'm trying to keep it really simple, just so we don't have to get too crazy about it, because there's nothing to get crazy about. It's just it really is that simple. I think I just have a bigger perspective on this now, being a parent, than I did maybe 2 months ago. So, you know, the video bothered me, right? And that's I just don't think it's any place for a teacher or a school. I don't think it's the place to speak about things like that. And it's not that I think that it shouldn't be spoken about.
Exactly. Once again, it's their job to raise kids for the future. Now, this is the reason that I don't necessarily think that sex ed should be taught in schools. I think parents should teach it. The reason that I think schools should teach it by the time your kid's moving into high school is because some parents are too ashamed of the topic or embarrassed of the topic to bring it up with their children. They just are. And I think it's important that everybody know how to be safe. The thing is, by having the schools do this, with even just sex ed, you are taking away time. Valuable time. The one thing you can never get back. Away from these kids in an educational system that you could have spent teaching them how to do taxes. Teaching them how to manage their money. Teaching them how to invest responsibly. Teaching them how to actually narrow down how to make an educational decision that's valuable. Should you go to college? Should you not go to college? Should you maybe go get life experience before you figure out if college is for you at all? Is vocational school better fit for you, or trade school better fit for you? Because those are very viable options that will make you very successful in this world. But they don't teach you any of this. Instead, They're teaching you this goofy shit that doesn't impact your life in the end at all.
If that's what you got from that tweet, then you're just wrong. You're just wrong.
Absolutely wrong.
I don't have any quarrel with anybody in here. I don't have any quarrel with people on the internet.
I agree with Nick 100%.
It wasn't
it's
an
about
anti,
these kids. Leave them the fuck alone.
Gay tweet. That wasn't what it was. Now listen, if you have issues with me or if you have issues with that tweet, then hey, listen, I'm down to agree to disagree. That's fine. We can agree to disagree. But if you think that I hate you because you're a certain way, you just couldn't be any more wrong. That's not the truth. I've said things in my past. I've done things in my past. We all have. Okay? People grow. People get better. It's part of life, man. Okay? And I've grown a lot as a human being on planet. I'm sure we all have. Okay? I do not feel that way. I just simply feel that I want to be the one and my wife wants to be the one to speak with our child about stuff like that. And that was the tweet. That was the tweet. You can take the tweet if you want and you can spin it, flip it, flop it, quote tweet it. You can put 10 paragraphs on top of it. You can do whatever you want to it to make you feel better if that's what you want to do. But that was the tweet. Okay.
Yep, that was his tweet. So the response to his tweet, which we read in the other video, and he's now explained in this video, was for Call of Duty to remove a skin in game of him basically as a character and his weapon skins. They just took them out because of this statement. Now, why? And why are people freaking out over him saying that you should leave kids alone? You know why? Is because leave kids alone has been the unanimous unifying, which is the most important aspect of this, is it's a unifying statement that people are united in agreement on, is that you need to leave these kids alone. So if you make a statement like leave the kids out of it, then they're obligated to attack you and bring you down to uphold this wonky belief system that what we need to do is separate everyone. That way we have as much division as possible and we can have as much control over everybody as we need to remain in power. Because you see, technology, with the advancements of technology leading to us being able to communicate not just through words like we were in the beginning of the internet and like chat rooms and things like that, which turned into like apps that were essentially us being able to text, right? Like Yahoo Messenger and AOL Messenger and things like that. After a while, that's what we had. So now your cell phone, you're texting people, you're able to not just do that, but you can send pictures. Wow, imagine. And not only that, now you can do videos from your phone in a movie quality. So, because you're able to communicate across the world so quickly, if you realize things like 3 major corporations, or major monetary entities really, control the majority of all corporations' top-level funding, they're the top earners, come from 3 companies, then do you really think that they aren't involved in trying to create a certain narrative to funnel power to them and money to them all the time? That's not the business plan that they have that's gotten them to where they're at, being the people above everything and with their hands in every pot, including all the media that pushes all this information at you, that tells you you should be mad at someone like Nick for saying, leave kids alone. A simple statement, leave kids alone. How about the simple statement that Bill Clinton made, that unified everybody and got people to vote for him as president of the United States of America twice? Make America great again. Oh, wait a minute. That came back around. And the same people who praised it and used it to get a president elected then used it against the next person, Donald Trump, who used it in their campaign to slam him and make anybody who agreed with it a bigoted racist. Now, I'm not saying that you should agree with Donald Trump or disagree with Donald Trump. I'm simply using one very specific context that we are all very aware of, the way that people respond to existing, and how the media shaped that narrative. Because the media shaping the narrative around this topic and the simple statement of leave kids alone being used to remove his skins from a game, which I'm sure is part of how he makes money. I'm sure he gets a slice of that in some way. I don't know the inner workings of it, but I'm sure he gets some sort of a piece. Like, for every 100 people that buy it, he gets, like, I don't know, a dollar or something maybe. I don't know. I'm not saying he gets much, but he gets something maybe. Insignificant, but still it's something, right? The thing is, they're just taking shit from people because you made a statement with the wrong words, because they're the words that are bringing people together instead of apart. You see what I'm saying? Make America Great Again for Bill Clinton brought everyone together. That's how the media used the statement, was to bring everyone together. But when Donald Trump did it, oh, no. Separate them. You see the difference? That's all that I'm trying to illustrate with it. I think it's absurd that this is where we've gotten in society, is the point that we need to just, bash everybody and take them down, deplatform them, remove things that make them money, impact their ability to make a living, things of this nature, all just on the basis of you said words that we don't like. Well, who's we? People you don't know that you'll never see behind a screen who make decisions with money that you'll never have. Fuck them. They just want us to hate each other so that they can make all the decisions for us. You'll eat the bugs and be happy.